morning, good morning, good morning. I will let my co-hosts jump in and introduce themselves. So, do we want to go Maggie, Laura, Rita, and then me, and we'll get started.
Okay, good morning. Hello, lovelies. Mama Maggie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor, migraine sufferer. I am a writer because words. I have a new book out this month, Anemones in the Wind, has just released. I've not done the book launch party for it yet because the day I was doing the launch, I had a migraine. But yeah, hey, getting through writing struggles, that is part of our writerly life, and that is what we talk about here. And today we have two extra special guests. We have Rita, we have Laura joining Sam and I for the usual wordy questions. And introduce yourself, Laura.
I'm Laura Nettles. I mostly write horror. I have a book out called Tiny Shivers. It is a collection of 101 flash short stories and travels, a few of which had already been published in magazines and anthologies. And yeah, I am in the middle of writing a vampire romance that is horrific, and I love it. And I need help, so I'm here. That's me.
Okay, I'm Rita today. I feel like I have a split personality because my pen name is Miranda over at Miranda's Cauldron, even though I'm not actually published yet. But hey, little steps. I write young adult urban paranormal because of witches and elementals holding family secrets. And I do host writing sprints normally Mondays and Saturdays over at my YouTube channel. But I pop in at other people's sprints when I can.
There we go. And we have dropped Laura's website and Tiny Shivers in the chat, and Rita's channel and Rita's Instagram in the chat. So make sure to check them out. And if you haven't been following them, do so because they are awesome. For those of you who do not know me, I am writer Sam Wicker here on YouTube, and chaos coordinator. I'll just put that. So what we do here on Breaking the Block is we talk about writerly problems or creative problems. And that can range anywhere from marketing to writing to editing to just keeping up the muse, so to speak, or refilling the well. So we have a few questions here that we can dive into. And if you have any questions in the chat, feel free to pop them in. Maybe put a Q at the beginning so it's just easier for us to catch, and we will get to them as quickly as possible or when we can. All right. So, first things first. Da-da-da-da-da. Let's do this one. All right. So what do you do when you're stuck in a story and have an outline and you just need the gumption to get it done? This was Laura's question. That doesn't work. Okay, hold on. Let's go back.
So I have had like 4 different outlines for this ending. And every time I pants most of this book. And so I have just bullet points. And every time I get through a couple bullet points, I throw a wrench in and it takes it somewhere else. And so then I bullet point it again and I do a couple of those and I wrench it again. It's like, oh my gosh. So I like where the wrenches are going, but now it's just I'm just sitting here like I just need to get words on the page. And I don't know. I'm just sitting here. I have just moved countries. So I have been very tired. I start my new job on Tuesday. So like all that's been weighing on my brain. But like I need to get words. And I have a beta reader lined up already. And it's like, I need to get this done by the end of the month. And I have 10K left.
Um, how attached to your plot points, your bullet points are you? Because here's the thing, I do my outline like a travel brochure, and I put in the major places I want to visit, and I put in the little side places I want to visit, and pretty much I just let my muse have the adventure. Can you steer back toward previous plot points to get yourself back on track, or is it more fun writing the adventure? Are you enjoying writing the adventures more? Because the book
I
the
enjoy
content.
I enjoy surprising myself with where the plot's going. So, I like to do the yes and no but method of, okay, did this character's plan work? Yes, and then this happened, or no, but this happened instead. And so I just do that constantly. So I don't have a beat sheet. It's just constantly twisting and turning because there's so many no buts. So many. My poor characters.
Okay,
So,
which of the no buts do you need to tie and wrap and put a ribbon on
mhm.
in the next 10,000 words? And which
um,
of the no buts can become dangles to the next, fish hooks dangling, that little carrot to lead you to the next book?
mhm. So I have, this is going to be a trilogy, hopefully. So I have quite a few dangling. One I just did. Like, I can't believe I just did that to this character. But um, it's the perfect setup for book two. So that
Okay.
is great. But I need to finish up this heist scene. And this heist scene has been the bane of my existence because every time I had him standing at the door trying to figure out how to get into the building for like 3 days of my time, just trying to figure out how to get him through this stupid door. He's through the door now. He's in the building, and now it's just like, okay, he's in where the main objective is, and so I just need to write him getting the main objective and getting out of there. So
So no more
it's just been
so
very
no
slow
more
going.
side quest. You have to finish the main quest. No more side quest.
I know. Side quests are uh, yeah. Okay.
So, do you feel like there might be something that you need to change up about the heist? Like, what exactly the character is stealing or the reason why the character is stealing? Maybe that will help motivate it more.
No. Um. So, so do you want the details?
You don't have to give
Sure.
us the details at all. It's
Okay.
up to you. Yeah, because we
They
don't want you to have to spoil it, kind of thing.
so they need this specific item because it will um allow them to do a species change um for a couple of hours, which they need to do the second heist for the last 10K. So
So they need the enchanted item.
yes.
I had this thought too.
Yeah, well.
Sorry.
Well,
Like,
see, the thing is for me is because of the Daisy Kane character, she would like stake out a place for 3 days to get all the details, to know every single detail of everything about that building, and then she would find out a way to like go in the building in a way that no one would expect you to go in through the building, like in through like instead of going in on any ground level, she'd like drop on the roof or something, or mail herself in a box into the building.
so his heist partner, they're telepathically connected, grew up in this building and had access to it until a couple days ago, until they got banished. So they know all the ins and outs and everything, except for what's changed since he's been banished to keep him out. So he knows the secret passages and stuff. He knows the override passwords. So this is a vampire romance. So there's a lot of supernatural stuff going on and blood wards and stuff. So, yeah.
Is there a way for them, Skye is suggesting, is it a magical item? Is it possible that they does one thing, and if they believe it does one thing, and it does, but it caveats they didn't expect and aren't prepared for.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But that won't happen until the second heist. When they take it.
Side effects. So first they have to get the
aphrodisiac.
So first they have to get, that would be unfortunate in the middle of a heist.
I know!
Or the middle of a battle, and all of a sudden, oh no. Unless you're writing, is this romantasy? Because in romantasy, it's perfectly valid to stop in the middle of the most ridiculously dangerous situation for some time.
Hanky panky. Yeah. So it's a paranormal romance. It's kind of like a romantasy. It's a queer romance in the 90s, where there are vampire mafias and gambling dens underground in Scotland in the bogs, and it's quite fun. But for me, not for my main characters, my poor boys. But yeah, so I don't know where I was going.
Have you written the scenes after the heist?
No.
May I? This is what I do because I have brain damage. If I get stuck somewhere, I will write the scenes that come after it, because I've discovered that having the characters remembering what they did then helps me gap fill in that event. And sometimes an event that I think is super important when I'm plotting turns out to be almost it's a necessary event, but page time, it becomes almost like 2 paragraphs.
Right.
It ends up being something that's so ridiculously simple or so accomplished that it's just why have I spent a week trying to figure out how to write this when it's not this event that's important, it's the next one. So is it possible that you are overweighting this event in position to the next event? Morning, Heather.
Morning. Yeah. So the thing is, I'm at a juncture where the heist can either work or it can fail. And if it fails, I have a backup plan that can be fixed really fast, but have implications for book 2. But if it works, then we go straight on to heist number 2. So it's it's a literally make a deal with Satan type of thing, because he's one of the main character's exes. So, yeah.
Try maybe writing both options and then see which is easier or better, because by the sounds of it, I think you're saying that if it doesn't work out, this heist, then it's better in the long run. So maybe that's what you're struggling with.
Yeah. It's this main character can shapeshift. So if he shapeshifts into his snake form again to get out of there, and he has the vial of liquid in his fangs, if he accidentally breaks it, then they have to go to Satan like, hey, we need this, please. So, yeah. Like, I have a way for it to go wrong, but I'm at 77K words right now, so it's not terrible if it goes longer than 10K more, but I'm hoping to keep it under 90.
Would it going wrong lead to a better read for the reader? Because here's the thing, here's what I'm thinking.
So.
Okay, I am not a Tom Cruise fan in any way, but the Mission Impossible, when he's breaking in the first one, they're lowering him down into the vault and he's hanging over the floor and they're trying to get the disc and, they've got to it'd be completely quiet and they can't warm up the temperature of the room. And just as they're leaving, the last guy drops a knife and it sticks on the table instead of the floor. That was a potential that could have gone wrong that didn't, but it was this basically nerve-wracking bank vault scene that was like, afterwards it was like, versus the one where he's breaking into the Kremlin. I think that's movie like 3 or 4. My husband watches these movies. I've seen
this
them.
This one's a Kremlin too.
And he's running away from the Kremlin before it blows up. Is because everything went wrong. Which is the more fun read, do you think, for the reader, versus which is the more fun write for you as the writer? Because sometimes you'll write something that's super fun and you're loving it and everything else, and your beta is like, were you drunk?
I was drunk on apple cider, okay. A little bit of hot chocolate.
And if you do write both endings, it could be a nice little like newsletter thing or something like that to share with them the ending that didn't happen, kind of thing. Too, if you want to write both,
right?
Yeah, but I'm kind of with everybody else. Just kind of go with what's more fun, and if not, write both scenes. If you still can't decide after you write both scenes, go to the tried and true flip a coin.
Right.
Because I cop out that way.
I have the advantage of I write time travel, so I can write both versions of the scene and just pick the aftermath of something and be like, oh, wait, you remember it this way, but how it happened was this way. Who messed up the timeline? What did you touch?
Yeah. Okay.
Did
that help in any way?
Did that help at all, Laura?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, Eva.
Eva!
We've got a bunch of people in the chats. We've got, let's see, Paul and Skye and Heather and Eva. Hello, hello, and good morning. All right. So, moving on to the next one, we have how do you know what to keep and what to dump in a story, especially when characters have exceptionally long lives? Maggie brought this one up, and I think this is fitting since we all kind of write characters with exceptionally long lives.
So for Wordvember, for Nomo Nano, I'm actually finishing projects. That's what I'm doing for Wordvember. And one of the projects I'm finishing is my Vigilante Gargoyle Shifter Queen. And one of the side characters is her uncle, who is also a gargoyle shifter, who is 5,000 years old. And so I have this whole story thread. I have her life, which is 800 years. She's now old enough to be considered a queen. And but I also have his extremely long life, and going all the way back to like ancient Egypt, and where his lover was the wolf god or the moon god's high priest, and Ouroboros made well, he was Obeon then, but he made a deal with the moon god that if he could have Consuet's soul back to be his beloved every few generations, that he would serve the moon deva for like 1,500 years and protect his temples. And then and so he stayed in one place, and every few generations his lover would be reborn and carry the scent of the temple. And after the temple fell, he thought that his soul, he was not going to get Consuet back. And then he found his soul again generations later. So now I have all of these lifetimes going from about 35 BCE, before Common Era, up to modern times. And there's different places where his name becomes Ouroboros because the priestess of the wolf warns him, you're basically going to be a snake swallowing your tail. And the lives that Ouroboros spends with Consuet's soul overlaps with Anutari's life. And there are times when, so I have all of this stuff. I have this entire secondary storyline all the way up to modern times when they were united. And it's another probably 30 or 40,000 words worth of events moving through time. It has nothing to do with the modern storyline, because the modern Consuet soul was born into Etheridge, and he has the majority of Consuet's memories. And of course, Obeon, being a gargoyle, remembers everything. So it's just this kind of sweet side romance thing, and it's all these adventure things, because the gargoyles are always referring to things that happened in the past like it was literally yesterday, because when you live for 25,000 years, time does not pass for you. And I mean, there's a scene later in the book where they confront an 18,000-year-old gargoyle queen. So my thing is I know that a developmental editor would be like, this is extra, and the common thing they're teaching everyone is only write the main storyline and the main characters. But it takes so much out of the world and out of the books to not have the lives of like the person that literally, when Anutari was hatched, her mother had been wounded with emerald, and she literally put her daughter in her brother's arms and said, save her. And Ouroboros left with Anutari as the monastery they lived in was destroyed. So
I like the idea of, so far they have not been a POV character, the uncle.
There are a few chapters where you kind of like, you start into like part one was Stone Skin, part two is the Western Queen. And when you start the Western Queen, you're in ancient Egypt, and the first 2 or 3 chapters of Western Queen are Obeon and Consuet up to Consuet's death. And then you jump to modern times, and Ridge wakes up because he's hit 20 years old, and now he's starting to dream about all his past lives. And he will eventually have to make the choice to be with Ouroboros or to not be with Ouroboros.
So I want to.
I can't hear you, Rita.
Yeah, you're muted.
You're muted.
It sounds rather complicated because you want to put a lot of the information in, but like you said, some of it you don't need. And then what to share.
So Skye has this. She's like, for this, I write it all, at least for the first draft. Then I can decide what's important for the book, and I can either A, split what I wrote with multiple books, or B, pull all the scenes I don't think are important into the main story and write side pieces, novellas, short stories with it. And I like that idea. Mel, she splits all her long-lived characters into 2 stories to show development over time. I like how the Good Omens show did the whole little side bits and important moments too. So that could be something to look at too, because Good Omens, I mean, they live forever, so you can see how it's split between the past and the present, and that.
That's how I have my chapters. Each chapter has modern times and the past and memories. So each chapter, the chapters always have 2 segments, that one of modern times and one of memories, and sometimes there'll be like a little bit of modern times at the end of the chapter, or one will be at the beginning and one will be at the end. I switch that up, but there's always a modern times part and a memories part in the chapters. There are very few chapters that are set all in one timeline, because like I said, the gargoyles remember everything, and the queen gargoyles have the ability to not only remember their memories, but the memories of anyone whose blood they've ever shared. Because gargoyles don't have when the Edoans created the non-human species. Every species had a gift. Every species had a flaw, and the gargoyles do not have the ability to make their own blood. So even though they're pretty much impervious to being damaged, they have to have blood. Someone else has to give them blood. They draw it in like a hypodermic through their fangs into their system, and then but with the queens have the ability to not only remember all of their memories and all the memories of their lineage, but they have the ability to see the memories of anyone whose blood they draw in.
That's a lot of information.
It is a lot of information, and that's like I've already there's 2 characters that I've already dumped their POVs. Shershur is a lion dog from the Kyoto Gargoyle clan, and then I have D'Artagnan D'Angelo, who was D'Agostino, who it was a gargoyle that was orphaned in the Notre Dame eclipse event, and he was raised by a sculptor, Andreasio D'Agostino, who was actually a person, and his son, and he spent hundreds of years in Italy being raised by the D'Agostino family. And that whole storyline has been reduced to a few sentences here and there, and Dante's entire life is just encounters with people from his past, but you never know, you don't know the full story for anything from him. So I've already cut I've already cut two of the gargoyle characters' lives. It's just with Ouroboros and Consuette's wandering soul. is, I don't know if it's like Laura in her heist scene. I don't know if it's just because I'm so enamored with this idea of a long-term gay couple becoming a family and raising children, just because uh, that that presentation, I think, is not enough represented in writing.
Right.
So, um,
Um, so Eva says this: I don't think age comes into play even when someone near the human lifespan doesn't have their entire life documented. Each story has its own climaxes and inciting incidences and the boring stuff. Let's see.
but that's the problem. None of it is boring. I mean,
Uh, look at each story for what it is and let the characters live all of their years and all of their stories. Um, 19 kids and counting, but with the same gendered couple. Yeah, yeah. So I kind of have this problem now too since I've started writing the epic. But what I've done to try to help narrow things down is whenever I write a scene that's like a flashback, I have to tie it to a plot point. If it's not specifically tied to a plot point and it's just an interesting little thing that shows some kind of character growth or some kind of reasoning as to like why he says this phrase or why he wears a trench coat or something like that. If it's just a little thing that shows light into his character, I pull it and I make it to where some other character that knows that makes a comment on it. And that's how that flashback is shared in the story. It just becomes one or two lines. So I don't know if that will help because to me, doing that is like I'm murdering part of myself.
I
Whenever
know, I know. It's like I have this whole incredible story about why um, D'Artagnan owns a Giovanni Testamante or Sangiove's Testamante vineyard, which is an Etruscan wine vineyard, and it's because the D'Agostino family have been living on that land with the gargoyles before the disaster, literally since before the Roman Empire. So it's yeah, that whole and then put that aside because while it is super cool and interesting that there are 4,000-year-old vineyards, it's not necessarily relevant to the plot right now of the war between the
right.
young queens and the new old queens.
Yeah.
You could just write a
So
novella romance between them and show everything leading up to this book.
Yeah,
and it's
So you
always
don't have to
like
focus on the action of the plot beats that are already in play. You could just focus on the romance and the feelings and the reincarnations.
yeah, yeah, tied into the main plot points needs to be pulled for another project. And again, the whole newsletter thing. Since we all have channels, you can read it out on the channel if you want to. I mean, it's it can be used still. That way, it's not completely gone, and that way you don't feel that pain completely. But yeah, um, it is tough deciding what to keep. Mel is another one that has these ageless characters in her comic, so she gets it too.
Emotional support kitty.
Right. Okay.
Roy has
he
stolen my
keeps
pillow.
reaching up and making biscuits on the side of my knee, and I'm like,
Okay. Prehistoric, not ageless. Yes, I know. Okay. So did that help?
Yes. As you said it, no words left behind.
I know it's not what you want to hear. It's not what any of us wants to hear. Yeah. So Eva has an epic, and her story originated as a biblical style society where age was confused. Like a mother gives birth close to 100 years old sort of vibe. Yes. It's also known that's old to give birth. I like that. That's pretty cool. Okay. Um, this one I kind of pulled from Reddit. So the poster was like, I just woke up at 3 o'clock this morning with a story idea, and my phone was dead, and I didn't have a notebook or pen nearby. And I'm like, I can remember it, but they didn't. So, how do you document the idea or a story portion that you thought of when you're in the middle of something else and you can't write it down?
Oh, see,
Uh,
I have to either like make a quick audio recording or audio to text thing, or scribble. I've handy dandy notebooks, always within reach, and I will just do a few little like sentence lines of this is the idea, and then I have to go back to what I'm doing because with my memory issues, if I don't get it down when I have it, it's like, ah, there it goes.
sorry, it's like 7 in the morning here.
Sorry.
For me, I usually have my notes app on my phone, or when I was laying in bed and had the expansion idea for this vampire story from a drabble into a full-on trilogy, I actually rolled out of bed and went to my laptop and just started writing at 3 in the morning and wrote for 2 hours. But yeah, sometimes I will lay in bed and I had my setup for vlogging, and so I literally just sit up in bed, hit record, and film myself spouting out stuff. Turn it off, lay back down, have another idea, sit up, hit record, and spout more stuff. So that was a fun vlog. That was my how to write a Lovecraftian short story. But yeah, that was a fun time. But don't forget to go through your notes app and stuff later. So I have a bunch of random stuff, like something I saw inscribed in this concrete in the sidewalk once. I have lots of random things. So sometimes you can take a picture of it and save it under a folder if it's something visual that's inspiring the story. Make a playlist with a song that has inspired something. Write down the name of the painting that's inspiring something. Yeah.
Rita, what do you do?
They're all great ideas. I had a thought last night when I was falling asleep because I have a chapter that I'm working on, which tends to be somewhat normal for me. The main characters are all sitting talking about what had happened or what's going to happen and some foreshadowing. And there's usually their mentor that's in there. And I'm thinking, okay, all they've been doing for the last 4,000 words, I've been talking about these events and trying to figure out why their friend has a toddler was kidnapped. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe the evil dude who is, I'm not really sure how evil he actually is, pops in and maybe they have to practice their magic and it goes like strange. And I'm surprised I still remember all these ideas because that was like about 10 hours ago, but I still remember it. But quite often, if I'm out on a walk, I just put it in my phone and just talk it out, or just write it out on notebooks, on post-it cards, and all that fun stuff.
Right. So Mel says this about the last one. Personally, I was thinking of when I publish it, writing fanfics of the side stuff under a fake name. I like this. But yeah, Eva says, I forget most. Cat Paw says, I give myself an hour to scribble furiously as much as I can, leaving out anything but the keywords. Nice. And Skye says, do this multiple ways. I use Notes app or audio recording app in my phone. She also has a section in Notion where she can add random story ideas and have the Notion app on the phone too, so I can dump it there. Eva says, I may speak it aloud to someone, but I'm just as likely to abandon something by doing that too. Yeah, because you already told a story. Cat Paw says, in the middle of the night, I have a pen with a light and always keep paper by the bed. See, I need to purchase a pen with a light or something like that. Skye's also a fan of random sticky notes, always keeping sticky notes nearby.
Yeah, the problem with the notebook thing is I've got several notebooks, and then like if I don't get them put into my story feed folder, like the pages pulled out and filed or typed into my story feed documents, then it's like, I know I wrote that down. I think I wrote that down. Where did I write that down? And then there was the one time that the goats broke into the house while we were gone, and they ate an entire story feed notebook.
Oh my gosh.
Delicious.
They recycled
Full
my
of potential
story.
energy.
They recycled my story ideas and proof that, sometimes they're just crap.
Oh.
So this is just the notebooks that I have in my office where I write down random things. It's all supposed to be in one notebook. But as you can see, I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things right here just by my desk. That's not counting like the 3 or 4 that I have in the bedroom. So yeah, just try to remember where you write things down. And if you can, like combine it all into one, maybe 2, possibly.
I have one that I develop my story ideas in. I have a separate one for my middle grade series, but it's just a big old 8.5 by 11 dot grid, this fat journal thingy that I got off Amazon. It's very flimsy, but it's nice. So yeah, I will draw out plot embryos in there. I will draw out family trees. I will write genealogies. I will do lots of... I came up with the runes for tattoos for my scribes and oracle priestesses and stuff for my sci-fi. And yeah, it's just really fun. I love having a big chunky notebook.
Right. And yeah, I'm not one of these where people can walk into my house and it's pristine. So yeah, chaos is this. So
I do make it a point to go back and read through my notes every couple years or so, like every year or two, I will go through my notes app and see what's in there to see if anything is sparking something for a short story for an anthology that I'm looking to submit to. So that actually happened with my Born Pregnant story, which was based off of Tribbles from Star Trek. So that became Trunda. So yeah, it has come in handy. Not as often as would be nice, but it has come in handy once in a while. So, yeah.
Skye goes through her things every 6 months and does like a spring cleaning. Um, Laura's brain is so pretty and organized. Good morning. Um, Skye's working on digitizing. Wow, let's say that 5 times fast on 1 cup of coffee. Uh, all her handwritten notes as I get it added to the computer and get it, get rid of the paper notes. Cat Paw says, remembering where I wrote things. Yeah, that could be a challenge.
I feel that one. I feel
Right.
that one.
But I have a physical folder where I collect most of it in plastic tubs with the old ones. Yeah. So remember, 2 weeks ago, where we were talking about how many projects and stuff that we had, and I kept going, oh, I just have 42. Oh wait, there's 47. Oh wait, 58 now. It's because I kept finding the different notebooks and the different notes and the different outlines as I was thinking. I'm like, I know there's more.
Let me go get some real quick.
Right.
Yeah. I la la la. La 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 la. La 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 la. No, I think I keep making these jokes that my family don't find funny, but it's like I have the chronic migraines, I have the stroke damage and stuff, and I'm like, I can't die yet. I still have 500,000 words to edit and at least 3 or 4 to write.
Yep. Yep.
And I thought I had a lot of story ideas when I only had a dozen. I could even imagine being over like 50. I think, whoa, that's too much for my brain to handle.
I don't like the feeling. Trust me.
I turn everything into short stories, into like a short story to be a story seed for later, and then I leave the world building stuff on the end of the document so that OCD Goldbrain will allow me to let go. Because look, I did the thing. Let's go back to work on what we're supposed to be working on. And yeah.
What are short stories? I don't know what this is.
15,000 words. Shut up. I know it's not really 15,000 words. Don't at me. I'm a wordaholic. Hi, my name is Maggie. I'm addicted to using words. All the words, every word, all the time, even moist.
Well, I found my story. Come on. Find the thingamajigger. Yeah. So like plot embryos and brainstorming character arcs and like mind maps and coming up with different sigils for society.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So like that was really fun. And then like this was my born pregnant mind map. So like I have that. I thought I had my other notebook here. Apparently it's in one of my moving boxes. But I did make one that tracks the progress of every story idea I have. Because I desire pain, apparently. So I have it divided by pen name and what stage each one is in and what number in the series each one is in. And so
you're very brave. You're very brave. My OCD goal brain would go completely bonkies if I did that. It's OCD goal brain would, yeah. You're very brave, Laura. I right now I'm on Relic of Time Wars book 12, Pagosa Cliffs, Pagosa Stars book 5, and Pagosa Cliffs Anemones book 5. And I've got 2 more in each of the Pagosa Cliffs series, and 4 more in Relic of Time Wars. And I'm trying not to go completely bonkers because I still have the entire Servants of the Moon series to publish, and I'm like, no, no, finish these.
So sometimes I will make a list of all my short stories and stuff, ideas that I have started and not finished. And this one actually also includes my novels. But I will make a list, and then so I can stare at it. I did this before with a sticky note, and I will just start going. I took my ADHD meds that day, and I just started going through and finishing each story. It's like, just get these off the list, send them off to publications, and see if they'll take them. So that really helped me just feel accomplished because I finally crossed stuff off my list. Yes, they were short stories or shorter, but they were done. They were out there. So making a list to check off in a specific amount of time definitely did help me feel accomplished and like there's less of a boulder on my shoulder.
Nice. Yeah, everybody. Eva wants a sticker of Laura. Just a Laura. She's a yeah. So we do the character randomizer, and we're supposed to be creating short stories off of the character randomizers. And if you've noticed, I am like 3 stories behind because at this moment, my brain cannot handle the idea of a short story. It wants to turn everything into a novel. And therefore, the short stories aren't getting done, unfortunately, until my brain can switch to, okay, we can make this 1,000 words.
Yeah, I'm 5 behind because my brain is like, dude, novella. Especially the isekai one that we did last summer, where the firefighter gets trapped in the future where everybody's basically a Borg. I mean, they're not a Borg collective, but a like implanted cyberpunk kind of a thing. And his smartphone accidentally brings a virus forward when they get time jumped and like almost kills off the entire world population because it basically ransomwares the entire world population, and they don't know how to deal with that now, and everybody just shuts down.
Yep. My brain is happy in the flash fiction length world. And so writing anything longer than a flash feels like a stretch. And so it's crazy awesome that I've actually gotten something over 75K now. Because usually it's like, yeah, 500 words. Yeah, this is good. Okay, I'm done.
Nice. Well, congrats on the 75K.
That's why I started doing flash fictions a couple years ago. Started making myself writing flash fictions and stuff and short stories because my brain is like, everything can be a world.
Yeah.
And you get a novel, and you get a novel, and you get a novel.
Nah, just hone in on that one scene, that one moment of change, and we're done. That's the most important part. We're good.
Yep. I joined Writing Battle because they're doing more challenges now. But whenever I signed up for it, there was only 4 challenges a year. And it's all 3 of them are flash fiction under 1,000 words. And then the winter one, which we just finished up, is 2,000. And that's helped some. But it was quite difficult this round to do just the 2,000 word story.
The next one is the 1,001, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I signed up for that one.
Nice.
I can sign up for that. I went through a thing where I was writing 100 word stories. Like, and still ended up writing chapters, like 100 word chapters, like 12 100 word chapters, because I couldn't tell the story in 100 words.
I struggle
50
writing
of
a
my 101
2,000
stories
word
are
chapter
drabbles.
in those short stories.
Yep. Longer doesn't equal better a lot of the time. That's why the market doesn't always love them. Yep. And that was another reason why I wanted to try to do serialized fiction as well, because I would be limited to like a single scene per chapter. Make sure that it has like an inciting incident and a kind of an ending, but it leaves enough of a cliffhanger to make you go into the next chapter. And that didn't work out.
Yeah, no, it's I have so much respect for people who can write small fiction because I'm just like, oh look,
Yeah.
4 hours later, oh look, I got 1,000, 2,000, 1,300.
This has turned into a 10-book series. Yay!
This is well. The original Relic of Time War story, War of Prophecy, was 30,000 words. And then I had to create the second book, and which became the seed for Cretaceous Creatures and Ancient Ice Apocalypse. And yeah, that whole series is 1.4 million words now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Rita. So, yeah. Anyway, people who can write short fiction, Chandra and Natalie used to host the Flash Fiction Saturday morning. And I spent like 2 years with them trying to like make myself crunch the word count. And then I just gave up.
Yeah. I tried to join in on that too whenever I wasn't working on Saturday mornings, and those stories are now like number 40 novel and number like 50 novel, probably. Oh, my goodness. Skye hasn't calculated how many words that she's written across all of the stories. Yeah, I haven't either. But yeah. Okay. Is there anything else that we want to cover before we head out? Because we've been here for about an hour.
You guys are awesome.
All of us are awesome. Yeah, we're awesome.
Well, I did my thing. My whole, I want to write Ouroboros and Consuettes many, many lifetimes. I do. And they're so cute.
You're so funny, Eva.
All right. So let's go ahead and do outros then, and we will be back next Sunday. So don't worry, we still have plenty of questions to answer. But Laura, if you want to start, and then we'll do Maggie and Rita.
Sure. I'm Laura Ellis. I mostly write horror. My horror collection is out called Tiny Shivers. I need to show Roy. He's so cute. This is my boy Roy with his wacky tail.
Oh, we love him so much.
He has stolen my pillow, as is his right. But yes, I will be on Writer's Room this afternoon with Barrett, Morgan, and Tiffany. It's going to be great. We're going to be going over my first chapter for my Dark Academia called A Study in Demonology. Oh, it got denied for a writing grant, so it's like, help! So, yeah. Anyway, that's me.
I'm Mama Maggie Ward, independent author, stroke survivor, migraine sufferer. Yeah, I write lots of things. I have a new book out, the Pagosa Cliffs and Enemies Bakery series. Book 4 is now out. Anemones in the Wind. I will be republishing the first three books in the new year. I have to wait out. I got them back from my publishing house, and I have to wait out the 90 days. So I will be republishing those. I also published the last Relic of Time Wars last month, The Dauntless Deception, and also have other books, Greek mythology AU called The Spartan Chimera, and How to Become a Crazy Cat Lady to Survive the Zompocalypse, which is a fun little zombie survival story with some poking at government corruption and big food.
I love food.
I'm Rita, also Miranda at Miranda's Cauldron. I write young adult urban fantasy, some witches, mostly witches, keeping family secrets. And I normally sprint host over on my channel on Monday and Wednesdays around lunchtime Central.
Nice. All right.
One more thing. We have an event coming up in January. AuthorTubers under 1,000. We are taking signups for streams. We're trying to do a full 24, maybe 48 hours worth of streams for AuthorTubers who have less than 1,000 subscribers. If you are interested, the link is in the comments.
We are putting that together rather quickly. We had 14 signups this time last week, and now we're up to 19, I think. So fill it out. If you know people across the pond, so to speak, in different parts of the world, make sure that they know to sign up too, because again, we're trying to do 24 hours, kind of 7 days a week kind of thing. So they are more than welcome, and it's authortubers and booktubers under 1,000 subscribers. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you want to join us up here on Breaking the Block, make sure to fill out, where did the link go? Here it is. Breaking the Block sign up. That way you can join us on any Sunday that you choose. I know Rita has decided to join us for a lot, and Laura has joined us for a couple, or will join us for a couple, maybe. And you can continuously sign up for it. I keep renewing the dates and everything if you want to, or just let me know. Be like, hey, shoot me the link whenever. And I'll do that.
We have an Instagram. On Instagram, we have a closed message group that if you want us to add you into that, as a group, most of our stream links for like co-hosting and stuff end up in that group. So yeah, just tag Sam or I, and we'll add you in.
Oh, yeah. Sounds good. I would like to be added too. So I have a better idea of what's going on, and I can only help out during this time because of the time zones, because I know Mama Maggie is further west than I am, but I'm not functional at 7 my time. Heck, even 8 my time is too early.
I understand. I kind of wanted to make it at 10 because I know that my whole 9 o'clock Thursday morning stream, I'm still a little so yeah. But anyway, thank y'all for joining us as always, and we will see you for another Breaking the Block